Backyard decor. It's okay to have some decor in the backyard. I'm not going to be that person to say like, oh, a bare yard looks the best. Like, no, we all know that, you know, a couple things in the backyard makes a yard look very warming and inviting, especially if you live in a nicer climate, nicer than what I live in. You can use your backyard a lot longer than what we can over here. So it is nice to have some items there to make it look a little bit more inviting for your guests or just for you. If you want to come home from work and chill in the backyard, then that's fine. But you don't need a ton of it to look inviting. Now, it's very, very easy to overdo the twinkle lights. It's easy to overdo the whole plant pot situation. There's a lot of yard furniture, and I've been into a lot of homes where they will have a full furniture set in their yard, and that is considered decor because it's something that you don't use all the time. It's not your living room. Unless you are out there like your living room, then go for it. But I have seen quite a few houses where they will have like 20 giant plant pots with exotic plants in them, and then they would have so many twinkle lights above, and at the end of the day it starts to look like Home Depot's lawn area, like, you know, the area where you go to grab plant pots and buy all those things. It starts to look like inventory in your backyard. And I just think that a lot of decor in the yard is something you personally do not need, because that money could easily go to fixing your roof or maybe fixing something inside the house where you are there more often than the yard. And I know a lot of people are not gonna agree and they like their yards with a lot of decor, and that's okay. We're all different. In all honesty, a lot of decor in your yard is something that you can live without. It's, you know, you don't need it all the time. Swing set and sandbox. Now, I know I'm not a parent, and with me being not a parent, I feel like sometimes I don't really have a say with this category, but I do have nieces and nephews, and I do consider them my children. Practice children, you want to say that? I love them like they're mine. We'll just put it that way. So my sister did purchase a play set and a toy house, because she didn't get the sandbox because the landlord wouldn't allow it, but the play set and the toy house was allowed. And my niece and my nephew played with that stuff for maybe a year. Not even, because we live in Boston, and living in Boston, like, you can't be outside in the yard all the time, okay? It is like, today it is 5 degrees, I think. Let me check. Hey Siri, what is the degrees outside?
It's 16 degrees outside.
Okay, so it's 16 degrees today, which is not that bad, I guess. So with that all being said, it's freaking cold out, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't think any little kids is gonna want to play in 16-degree weather with their sandbox and their play sets and stuff like that. So maybe it's an area thing. So to me, I don't think it's something that you need in the yard. I know kids like the swing sets, they like the sandboxes, they like the playhouses, and that's great. They do have parks that have that stuff. So when the weather does get nice, I think it's cool to bring kids to the actual park. I know the virus has definitely gotten out of control recently. I think for me, when I do have kids, I will bring a can of Lysol and sanitizer with me, maybe spray down the park before they play. And that's me being overly prepared. I just think that with having those giant items in your yard for your kids, it does not last. I remember working with a lady that her sister bought a giant trampoline, a giant sandbox, and the biggest swing set that came with a slide that I've ever seen. And they were like,
oh my god, I bought all this stuff and my son doesn't want to play with it. He just wants to be in the house and watch TV or play on the tablet.
So all of that stuff that they purchased for him to play outside, they ended up selling it. And obviously they didn't make their full money back. They made half of it, but it was just a waste of time and money for them. So with all of that being said, I just think the swing set and the sandbox and the little castles and kitchens that go outside for your kids, I just don't think that they are necessary all the time. Like, you don't have to purchase them. I mean, if you have the room and the money for one of those items, then maybe go ahead. But I think with nowadays, the kids, like that generation, they don't really like to play outside. They like the tablets, they like the games. It's a lot different than when you and I were kids. There was no tablets. There was no, well, there was video games. When I was a kid, PlayStation 1 was really big, but I still wanted to go outside and play, and do other things instead of that. Nowadays, technology is a lot more advanced, so the kids want to be inside. So what's the point of you wasting your money on putting things outside? Pools. I live in a colder place. We do not have warmer months here like that. So the only warmer months we have is like July and August. And those are the only times you can use your pool that you have in your yard that you spent thousands of dollars on. And not to mention the in-ground pools that you have to hire people to clean. And you have to treat these pools as well. It's just too much money. It's literally a money pit. And I think the only exception with pools is if you live in a warmer climate. Wherever it's warm all the time, then maybe you can benefit from a pool in your yard and cool down throughout those hot days. For here, and in these colder states and cities, I just think a pool is a waste of money. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. My boyfriend thinks it. His whole family thinks it. Half of my family thinks that the pools are a waste of money. We did not grow up with pools. We had those, what do you want to call those? These pools right here, those little kiddie pools that you can roll up and then put back out when it's warm out again and put it back in the basement. That's what we had, not these giant pools that everyone has around. I wish I could show you guys, but privacy reasons. Pool that I'm looking at right now is bigger than our apartment. Crazy how you spend that much money and not be able to use something like that, If I'm gonna spend something on that, I wanna make sure I'm getting all of my money's worth. Now, $1 is getting wasted. Broken yard equipment. Everyone goes through this. Most of us do not have the time to pick up things in our yard. Obviously, I don't have a yard. I live in an apartment complex. I did go over family members when I was little. Maybe it was 10 or 11. And I always remembered the one aunt that had so many broken things in her yard. We would have to wear our shoes in the yard 24/7 because you never know what you're gonna step on that was broken. Pots that were broken, wind chimes that smashed, like a glass wind chime that smashed and it was glass everywhere. Shovels, old gloves, old gardening gloves, the list goes on and on. If you cannot fix these items, then get rid of it. Do not leave it for maybe one day I will get to it, or maybe tomorrow. Those days never come. Just get rid of those items, clear out your yard so nobody gets hurt. Random non-yard items. I know that you know at least 3 or 4 people that have these items in their yard, and it's kind of what? Why are those there? It's very questionable when you see these things. But I grew up with seeing old cars in the yard, old mattresses, an old blender on the picnic table. The randomest things that belong in a house or in the dumpster or in a junk car lot, you would see in the yard. And it's kind of all right, let's take the time to clear all this stuff out. This is something that does not need to be here. Especially the things that can hoard germs, such as an old mattress. It honestly is just a hazard at the end of the day. It's best to just take all that stuff out, get your yard back, mow your lawn, treat the yard like it's supposed to be, a yard. I also remember growing up and seeing mannequins in the yard. I still till this day do not know why those mannequins were in the yard. None of my family members were fashion designers. None of them worked in retail. I just don't know why those mannequins were there. I just don't know why all that junk was in the yard. Now with me being an older adult, I'm I would not want that in my yard. That would freak me out at night, seeing those random mannequins just standing around. I think about it every now and then. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of You Do Not Need It. Let me know down below what topic would you like me to talk about next. And on that note, I will catch you in the next video. Thank you.